at that point, you're not there to play it safe. Like if you're not taking risks, you're not competing.
It's empowering. I mean, anybody who's done a CrossFit workout, you finish your CrossFit workout and you're like, I'm on top of the world.
Yeah.
Like a hunger for competition and like that super intense structure, routine. I still had that desire.
Listen to the way people feel and the motivations for doing the things that they did. It was like they were describing me to a T.
I'm not trying to solve everything for you, but I know that sometimes you just need somebody to listen.
Learned the most is how to fill my cup by filling others.
Welcome to the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. Join me as I talk with passionate people about their life's failures and successes, and most importantly, what keeps them hungry for more. What's up, guys? We're joined again by some awesome athletes that I am able to work out with on the regular and also be inspired by on a daily basis. We have Gordy Jamieson, masters athlete in the 65 to 70 category for weightlifting, 4-time national champion, holds multiple records in the snatch and the clean and jerk. And also Dana Hazard, fresh off of her CrossFit season here with her highest placing ever in the CrossFit Open, and also just coming from the Legends Championship out in Arizona. We dive into their plan to never slow down, always improve, and inspire others through their exercise journey.
Yeah, and so, my records are only in USAW. I
That's
don't
what I was
know
wondering.
if what USA Masters is doing about their records, if they're just going to transfer all the records over there or not. I don't even know if they've talked about that. But this would be the first National Masters meet with the new, isn't it for the new organization?
Mm-hmm.
Is
the
it
new national?
in April?
But they're keeping the records on. The records that we have are going with us.
From USAW.
Yeah, they're going with us.
Oh, they are? Okay.
That's what I was wondering when I walked over to the conversation. Like, because I know you have records, right? That's what the badges are for. Will those carry over to the new federation?
I don't know. I assume so.
That's good.
Those are going to carry over. They might have their own.
Yeah.
That's why they have to figure this out, because they can't divide us, because most of the people are going to New Orleans.
What up, dogs? Welcome back to another episode of the Hungry Dog Barbell Podcast. So we just talked about it. Dana, you're fresh back from the Legends Championship. How are you feeling after that, Dana?
Actually, pretty good.
Feeling good?
It was it was very grip intensive, so my forearms were pretty blown up. So I was kind of late when I came in on Tuesday. I've been scaling this week just to move, but otherwise I'm fine. Like I mean, they didn't really. They made the workouts small enough that you weren't destroyed throughout the whole weekend. Like, I had energy on Sunday.
How many workouts did you have over the weekend?
Two a day.
That's a lot.
Yeah, but some of the workouts were like 4 minutes. Mm-hmm. So, you really can't destroy yourself in 4 minutes.
Yeah.
So, and then there was max lifts and just a variety. I felt like they did a really good job with programming. There was limited equipment. It was mostly dumbbells, barbells, and body weight stuff, and the rig. But I only touched the rig once for the bar muscle-ups. There were rope climbs on the rig, but the rig itself I only touched once.
Nice. How do you think her training was leading up to it? Do you think that she was like losing it, or do you think she was locked in for this?
Oh, I think she was locked in.
Locked in?
I saw.
Yeah. We get to spend a lot of time around Dana. I think I would agree that this is the most consistent you were.
She was very focused, every day. It was I think it was difficult for her to take days off to recover. Yeah. Because I think she's anxious about getting better and better and having more durability. But without a doubt,
durable Dana. Hell yeah.
So, but I think obviously it paid off.
Yeah.
She had energy when she came home. So
that's funny. You know what I thought about? There's in all these competitions, even at the local level, it's all mostly pulling, even the open and quarterfinals. It's I spent 3 days pulling, We need to put more pushing in the competition. So next year's brawl is going to be all push jerks. That's it.
You know what? They kind of did some pushing. Like the first day had push presses with 40-pound dumbbells, single arms with the swim. Yeah. And then we had thrusters on Sunday. And then handstand walks, but there's no real pushing with handstand walks. So I guess it was just 2 times that we had the pushing, but the rest of it, I think it was just honestly just grip intensive with the rope climbs, the heavy jump rope, The dumbbells, you had to hold on for 240 feet of lunges.
Right.
Oof.
And then do devil's press.
That's so impactful too. People forget about that. Just to
and
hold
then
it up.
after that, you had to go do the rope climb workout afterwards.
That's terrible.
Yeah, it was rough.
That's
for the
crazy.
forearms.
I like it when competitions can put in like a sled push.
I wish they had,
because then that ups like the pushing value in the competition, evens it out a little bit more. So Dana, you were on here before. You kind of talked about how you got here. Like you heard about Amy as a coach, and you were trying to take it to the next level, right? Like building up all that. And Gordy, I think you have a similar story. How did you get to KOP?
I do, yeah. I started at another gym, and I got competitive in the CrossFit Open.
Yeah.
Once I turned 60, got into the top 30
That's
in
dope.
the world, and then failed miserably in the last stage before you go to the games.
What was it at that point?
That was
Like an online age group qualifier, right? They still had it, yeah.
Age group qualifier, and it was videoed. And I did so we did the workout backwards, and I had 3 coaches watching me filming timing, and nobody stopped me, and I didn't really realize I was doing it backwards. So after the video went in, they came back and said, "You're disqualified because you did the workout backwards."
Wow.
And the time would have made it.
Damn.
So that's when my wife said to me, she said, "Look, if you're going to continue doing this,
Yeah.
because you're training 6 days a week, then you're going to find another gym."
Damn.
So that led me here.
You
I found Amy, and it was the rest is history.
How many years ago was that?
That was 2015.
Damn, it's a long time. So coming up on 9 years, right? This year?
Yeah.
Man, so something I wanted to ask, and since you just talked about the Open right there, how do you feel about these online competitions?
They work because technology has gotten a lot better.
Yeah.
In the first days, we had to send videos in. Sometimes they wouldn't work. Sometimes they wouldn't receive them. You had no acknowledgement of whether they got them or not.
Right.
Sometimes they got cut off. And the video capability to actually set it up and do it was not as good as it is today.
Yeah, 9 years
So
ago.
I think, it's the technology has really helped. And CrossFit HQ seems to have it down on, reviewing videos faster. That was the big hassle before.
Yeah, you couldn't
Wouldn't
see it.
review 'em.
That is good. They have fixed that. What about you, Dana? How do you feel about the online things? Like you've done a bunch of them now, from qualifiers to the Open.
It's just a matter of make sure you're reading all of the rules.
Yeah.
Because the one time I wasn't facing the right direction and I had to redo a workout, simple things like that. You just have to be aware and where you are and make sure that you that they can see you go through every movement properly.
Right.
And it's helped. I have a crew here. We're really lucky. We have a lot of people who actually volunteer their time to help you out with these types of workouts when you're trying to submit, to make it to Masters Fitness Collective or Legends or quarterfinals, or this year even semifinals.
Right.
You have people will volunteer their time. They'll count for you. They'll help you set up. They'll make sure they read through Amy will read through the instructions after I've already read through them, just to double check.
When Gordy was talking, I was thinking about you guys, because Dana's really good at it, right? She comes in with everything printed out. It's awesome. She's got it all
Very
laid
well
out.
organized.
Yeah, so it's always like an easy experience.
The one time I missed that, Amy's not allowed to touch the monitor.
Yeah.
In the one workout, and I had done the workout and she had touched the monitor the whole time.
Ugh.
I was planning on redoing it anyway, so this
Yeah.
time I'm like, Amy, don't touch the monitor.
Right.
I have to
I hate when they
push
put
the
those
button.
small details like that. Now, those are the ones I don't like.
But you
I
have
get
to,
it.
it's detail oriented. You have to just make sure that you're doing all the things. And I don't mind, because I feel like if they actually follow through with saying, oh, that's an invalid video, if you're going to make the rule on the paper and you're making, everybody should be following it. If they leave the screen and you're not allowed to leave the screen, it should be invalid.
Right.
And that should reflect when you see out there. So the question is, how many of these videos are really being reviewed when we get to the quarterfinal level?
Yeah, that sucks.
That we just don't know.
Yeah. So, on that note, so I know both of you guys. You guys play by the rules. That's just how you're bred.
Yeah.
How do you feel when you see online people that aren't playing by the rules sneaking through or throwing tantrums when they're getting caught?
Well, I know that happened a lot. I'm going to say from 2016 to 2020, in my experience when I was competing actively. And they weren't following the rules, and then the next thing you know, they're at the games.
Right.
And they get to the games, and they have a movement like ring dips for 60-plus women that weren't in the Open or quarters or semis, and they're there at the games. They can't do one ring dip. So something's wrong there.
Yeah.
How they get through. But I think they've fixed all that now. I think they're more consistent in how they enforce the rules. I think we found this out with the 60-plus group with David Hippensteel, who's a 3 times game winner. when his video, he went out of the video, and there's a lot of other things going on in there, and he got called out.
It.
Yeah, and then he didn't go. So I think they've got it right now. I think they fixed that. And then back to the point regarding doing the videos here at our gym, or whoever does it in their gym, the fact that we have a community that supports you, I think is pretty amazing. I mean, when I was doing it, I would have like 10 or 15 athletes just come and watch and cheer me on.
Right.
Which I think is unheard of.
Yeah.
And it really helps, obviously.
Right. It's a big part of the process.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think the one thing that needs to happen going into this is that if you're going to have an online qualifier and then you're planning on programming certain movements, make sure that they're in the qualifier, because if these people are going and they qualify over you and you can do the movements, then because they made it more cardio based and they didn't put the heavier weights in, they didn't put the higher skills in, and then they have you go to the next stage and those people can't do the handstand push-ups, can't do the ring muscle-ups, can't do the handstand walks.
I always think that's really glaring when you get to a competition. You have people
and everybody's
on the floor.
like, I can't do it. And then I'm like, well, this is a high-level competition. You should be able to do these
So
things.
I think it's,
So I made Masters Fitness Collective the first year in the elite division. And some of us couldn't, I failed a couple legless rope climbs, I ripped my hands. But hey, I made 2 of them. I was happy with that. But I could do them.
Yeah.
I go in there this year and they program ring muscle ups for the RX division, which is like the lower division. And they ended up modifying the workout because the people contacted them and said,
we can't do those.
Oh, we can't do those. And I'm like, well, then you're at this. You signed up for the main group and you just fell into the RX division because you didn't make elite.
Yeah.
So you can't do ring muscle ups. So they switched to bar muscle ups, and there were only 3 people who could do the bar muscle ups in the group. So if you're going to do it, so the qualifier itself should have the movements you plan on putting in.
Yeah.
Or at least that level of movement put in.
For sure.
So that when they go, like handstand walks, it was supposed to be 25 feet unbroken. They changed it to 5 feet or 10 feet because
people couldn't, because
people were complaining that they couldn't do handstand walks, and then only 3 of us were able to do it. So it was confusing to me that they wouldn't. If you're gonna
hold to a standard, they wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Right. I think if you made the qualifier what you planned on programming for the actual competition, then you would have gotten the right people.
Right.
And I feel like that needs to start. That happened for Legends, though. I feel like they did a really good job this year.
The right people got through.
Right, because they made. You had to do ring muscle ups. You had to be able to do a high volume of handstand push ups. You had to be able to do heavier barbells. You have to be able to do all these skills. And I squeezed in, but but then when we went to the competition, I could do everything.
Yeah.
So it wasn't even an issue, but there weren't people who were failing.
It's just a matter of capacity. You have the skill. It's just a matter of capacity.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'd rather be in that situation to be able to get somewhere and do all the stuff, just squeeze through the qualifier. So speaking about qualifiers, how do you guys feel about them doubling or more than doubling how many people are going to get through from the open to quarterfinals? Are they doing that for Masters too, or is that only going to be for the open division?
I think it's 40 up to age 50. I think. Then they go 20 up to age 60. Then they go to 10.
So there's 25% from the open, right? And then from the open, from quarters to semis, it's 200 people go to semis.
The top 200, yeah.
And then from semis, they take whoever's going to the games.
So they did add more people for the Masters category. How do you feel about that now? They're going to be, because last year, just on the note before of people not being able to do stuff, the 90%, right? People at our gym, they qualify for the open division. They'll get to quarterfinals and not be able to do some of the stuff. They'll struggle with the workouts. Now you're going to add 15% more people. If we just look at it from a class standpoint, if we took our RX athletes and then we had everyone that was 15% below them try the RX of the workouts, you're going to add 8 minutes to the workout probably,
So I kind of look at the first workout is the first part is the open is it's a community workout.
It is, yeah.
So that's all it is. So to me, I'm not going to really
community 5K,
Yeah, it's a community workout.
Right.
So I'm not worried about that. The quarterfinals is when they're going to basically start making that more like the open used to be.
Yeah.
So then you really have to focus on, I don't think they're going to up the skills too much. they'll probably put a lift in there. They'll do what they normally do for the open. And
Last
push
year's
it.
quarterfinals with top 10% had a 185-pound clean and jerk for the women.
Yeah, for the.
So do you think they would dumb it down now for the 15% that are going to be coming in with them?
Probably a little bit.
Probably a little bit.
Yeah,
so.
definitely. I think what you're going to see is what we got for the quarterfinals last year is going to be what we get for the semifinals.
Yeah, because it's about money too. If they can get more people participating,
Yeah.
you got to pay at each quarterfinals. You got to pay semis. You got to pay.
Right.
I also feel like it actually. I don't find any negativeness to it because it's out of our control anyway.
Right.
So you know, I think that letting 25% make it to the quarterfinals and test themselves on another level, I think is really great for the overall CrossFit community,
I agree.
because these people are like, oh my God, I made quarterfinals.
Right.
And it's going to be a huge deal, because when I first made quarterfinals, I thought, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm so excited.
Right.
Because I had never made it. So it's like, it's a real accomplishment for people who actually really care about how far they get.
Right.
So I think it's, a positive.
Gordy, I have a question for you, right? So to qualify for Masters Nationals, Senior Nationals for Masters, whichever one we're going to, right? There, you have to hit a certain total at a qualifying event, correct?
Correct.
So now what if for your age category, that total for next year, they just randomly dropped it by 15 to 20 kilos, and that's going to let in a whole bunch more people? Does it still feel as valid to go, or do you just not care because you're going to win either way?
I mean, yeah, I care because there aren't that many participants anyway. Once you get over
It's an elite group.
55, 60 years old, the number of people that participate shrinks anyway.
Right.
And I think that I don't think they'll lower the standard. I think they're going to hang in there around 130 kilo, which, a lot of guys can do, but still not that many.
Right.
I mean, there's only, 6 to 8 in my age and weight class at these national events.
Wow.
Where other classes have, 50, 60 people.
Damn. So you were a swimmer, Dana. What sports did you play growing up, Gordy?
So football,
Hell
basketball, and golf.
What position did you play at football? That's a sport, man. Hell yeah.
I know, but I
You
love
see the guys
it.
on tour today? They're all in the gym every day.
I
They're all
know,
lifting
right?
and squatting
I know.
and lifting and
Right.
You're
squatting.
awesome. No,
Yeah.
you're a phenomenal golfer. That's
Yeah.
why I laughed.
They're dialing back the golf ball because the guys hit it too far because they're all stronger.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
I love that.
So defensive back in football.
Hell yeah, defensive man. I love that.
But in high school, it
That
was
means we
offensive.
didn't have to learn plays.
It was
Dana.
halfback and defensive back. Yeah.
No one wants to play offense.
Yeah.
It's stupid.
Well, we had to play. If you were good, you played two ways.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
played
so-
two ways in high school.
True.
right?
Yeah, in high school. Yeah. So you went on to college to play football?
Yeah, Bucknell.
Hell yeah. And then that's where you met Jim at.
Yeah, exactly.
How long you been golfing, Gordy? Like Dana says over there.
My dad bought us a set of clubs back when I was like 10, but I wasn't any good until I was 42.
Wow.
Yeah,
You
I
just played a
struggled.
little bit growing up, and then like as you got stronger, got good.
Well, actually, I was doing too many other sports. I got really heavy into racquetball. That was huge in the 80s.
Love it.
5 days a week.
These are
leagues every
short.
day.
Gordy, did you ever have a mustache?
I tried to grow in it.
That's
I
great.
would have.
But I had hair down my shoulders, all through college.
Yes, I love
Yeah.
that.
But I used to play basketball 5 times a week and racquetball 5 times a week. A little bit of tennis, golf, and once you get into your 40s, stop and go sports become difficult because you roll an ankle, and now you're out for 2 weeks instead of 2 days.
Ugh.
So I got serious about golf and got good.
Took off from there. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Did you lift in the weight room like the whole time throughout college and high school? When's the first
High
time
school,
you started lifting?
a little bit in high school. In college, you had to.
Yeah.
You didn't have a choice. But after that, not really. No.
Did
I didn't know how to snatch or clean a jerk until I was 58, 59.
Until you started getting into CrossFit, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah.
Did you like being in the weight room in college?
Yeah, because it was camaraderie.
Yeah.
But most of the guys are stronger. Because they've been lifting since they were 10 years old.
That's funny. Yeah.
And there was a lot of drugs going on in college sports at that
Back
time.
in those days,
A lot
yeah.
of roids.
Well, still today, it never stops. Dana, did you like exercising when you were in high school, college, stuff like that, when you were a young sportswoman?
I played soccer, field hockey, swam, and
But did you hit the weight room?
Oh yeah, I love the weight room.
Oh yeah.
That was like the best part was like we had gym, and then they were like, "Oh, you can pick an elective," and they were like, there was an option to have gym 5 days a week, and I was like, "That's my elective."
Yeah.
No, I did it 5 days a week. It was fabulous. We did
not math class, not reading.
No. History.
We did like
Extra
pegboard.
reading,
We did free weights. It was like awesome. We did like max pull-ups. It was like, there's only 2 girls in there.
Yeah.
Guys.
Just getting after it.
Yeah, I have just always been into sports. Like I'll watch hours of sports. I'll watch tennis. I'll watch golf.
Yeah, same.
I watch football for sure.
How'd you get into golf?
So my mom, actually, she's a phenomenal golfer. When you get older, you have limits on what you can physically do. So she used to be a big-time softball player, and then she went into golf, and then we actually took lessons together. And then I didn't really have the time, being a mom, I didn't really have the time to commit to go and train and do it. So she was
3-4 hours a day.
Yeah, so she was golfing for a long time, and then once I actually got to the point where I could go golfing, I started golfing with her, and then I joined a golf team. I don't even understand what happened. And then now I'm like, I think 9 years in, and I'm a pretty decent golfer.
Yeah. That's awesome. She said, I don't even know what happened. I was like, I don't know where that story's going, but all right.
And what's this part about, your mom is getting older and older people get limited in what they can do?
What's that, Dana? You feel limited out here, Dana?
Well, she has emphysema, so she's limited.
I know, but you said generally older people are limited in what they can do. That kind of hurts my feelings a little bit.
Not you. You're an exception to the rule. You know this. You can't even say that. I'm just saying that, you're not going to go out there and play contact sports.
Or do squat snatches.
My mom, yeah, right. So my mom actually she was a big time softball player.
When Lenny hears this, oh man,
she tripped over. She ran first base, tripped like on the bag, flew in the air.
Wait, in her younger days or her older days?
She was like in her 40s.
Okay.
Dislocated her shoulder. Had herself in a sling. It was like, she's not like a person who can go out and just like play a position. It's like balls out every time. She just goes all for it.
Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, does it?
So
describing you.
Injuries will happen.
That's funny.
So I think that she got to the point where, and then she just fell in love with golf. So then she was spending all of her time golfing, and I just think that she just like loves sports, and so she just would transition herself into different sports as she was growing older. She used to go to the gym all the time. She used to run, but like she was never into weights. Like my dad's a weight guy,
right? So
I got like the athleticism from her, and then the weights from my dad.
Got it. I love it. Little synergy right there.
Mm-hmm.
So on Dana's note there, right, I'm sure it's like probably the most accepted narrative that as you get older, you do get more limited, but Gordy, you are an example that doesn't have to be true. Do you get like feedback and pushback from other people? Like, why are you still doing all these things at your older age, or are people just accepting of it?
Well, once they understand what I'm doing, which most people don't understand what Olympic lifting is.
Right.
They've heard of CrossFit, but all they hear about is how many people get hurt.
I know,
and and that's the first question: do you still do CrossFit? Yes.
Yeah.
Do you get hurt all the time? I said no. So yeah, there's pushback. I think it's more jealousy than anything else.
Yeah.
When you're hitting the golf ball 40 yards further than your peers, and using the same equipment. They kind of wake up and they go, "Wow,
right?
What is?" I said, "Get your ass in the gym, dude."
Right.
So yeah, I mean, if you don't look after your physical fitness once you get above 40, I said it's your own fault.
Yeah. Have you always been of that mindset?
I don't know, because I worked pretty hard and did a lot of traveling through my late 50s, and I spent a lot of time running because that was a way to combine travel with staying somewhat fit,
right? But
was not doing all the stuff that I do now. So at 58, I really changed my attitude. Well, my ortho told me if I don't stop running, he's going to replace my hip.
Ugh.
So I didn't want to replace hips, so I stopped running, and then I just, by luck, found CrossFit.
Yeah, that's awesome.
The rest is history. So it's been, 11 years now.
Do you ever think of like slowing down at all? Like, did you ever have a thought of slowing down like 20 years ago?
No, I don't. And my wife taught me. I got my wife's a year younger than me, but she does CrossFit also.
Yeah.
And weightlifting, and we've both made a commitment to each other that if we say, you know what, I think I'm going to cut back on going to the gym, we're going to sort of have a talk to each other because we've both committed to continue this as long as we can.
Yeah.
And that's the plan.
Yeah.
So we've sacrificed other things like traveling, for example. We have big plans of traveling, all around the world to places. And you know what? We haven't, and we don't miss it.
Yeah.
But we have found that if we don't go to the gym on a regular basis, try new things all the time, push our limits once in a while, then we're going to fail our kids and our grandkids.
Yeah.
We can do everything we want with our grandkids on the floor, running around, skiing, whatever, swimming, and we want to continue that.
That's amazing. Terry's amazing too. I teach the master's class sometimes, and I've been there literally for her PRing workouts, and not like small things like running and pull-up workouts.
Yeah,
and that's amazing. At your guys' age, like to not just be doing the workouts, like exceeding at them and getting better at them. That's really awesome. Dana, do you ever plan on slowing down?
No.
No.
You know what? Gordy is such a great role model for me that it's just like, okay, I want to be like him. And I do. No, I'm serious. If I can do what you do at your age, I'm killing it. Killing it. So I just look at it like this is my life now. Like I don't really see, eventually I'm probably not going to want to compete at the same level, but like, I'm enjoying it while I'm doing it now, but it doesn't mean I'm going to stop working out. Like I might not compete, in so many years, but I definitely plan on continuing the lifting and the cardio.
Maybe pick up kickboxing. You never know.
I just love it. I went and did the workout Tuesday, and afterwards, I was like, God, I love that. And everybody's like, what is wrong with you? And I'm like, some people are just here to do their cardio and work out, but I enjoy the pain and suffering.
Well, it teaches you to listen to your body and understand how your body is functioning. And that if you had a lousy night of sleep and or you had bad nutrition one day or two, it affects how you perform in the gym.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, it's immediate.
It's a metaphor for discipline.
Yeah,
CrossFit is what it is.
But yeah, I didn't do any gymnastics when I was a kid or anything.
Yeah.
I didn't do any gymnastics till I came here.
That's awesome.
Yeah, the first day I came into, I was balancing between coming to CrossFit KOP or CrossFit and Skip Back, where Jordan Troyan is.
Yeah.
And interviewed both. And the day I came in here, Keith was here, Keith Bombar. Both of them were grilling me on, what can you do, what can't you do? Because Amy had followed me when I was at the other gym.
Yeah.
And she knew that I got, to like top 30. And so she listed all these things that I can do. And she said, do you got to like more advanced skills? Like, do you have butterfly pull-ups? I said, no. I said, I'm really good at kipping pull-ups. I can do 30 in a row. I don't need butterfly pull-ups. And, she gives you an eye roll. Keith is like rolling his eyes. And then, do you have bar muscles? Do you have ring muscles? No. And so 20 minutes later, Keith and her had me do my first bar muscle up.
Wow.
In 20 minutes.
That's crazy.
Awesome. Yeah.
That sounds like a Keith and Amy duo,
Yeah, so.
Did Keith give you the good old tap over for your first one?
Well, to start with, but eventually I got it on my own.
He's really good at that. That's a hard skill to tap somebody over.
Yeah, Amy does that to me on the ring muscle ups. Yeah. I got them here too.
Yeah, that's a difficult skill there.
Exciting.
So when did you get serious about weightlifting? When did that kind of transform?
When I started aging out of CrossFit competition. So 60 up until recently, 60 was the last age. So once I hit 63, 64, I was not as competitive with the guys in that age group.
Because you were the top of the age group and they were the youngest.
Yeah. And, the goal was to get to the games. And if, wasn't going to get there, then, what else can I compete in? And Amy said, you ought to try weightlifting.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that there was national, Olympic weightlifting for all age groups. And so once I got into that, because I had learned the snatch and the clean and jerk through CrossFit.
Right.
So that's when she asked me to come in on Mondays to see Jim. And that's where it started. And so won the national championship in 2020 for the first time.
Wow. How many years between
and I
was that?
66 at that time.
You were at 66 at that time? So that was 3 years ago? 2 years ago?
Well, that was the first one, and this recent one in 23 was the fourth one.
Fourth one, right? That's what I thought. Yeah, so 4 years ago. Wow. How long did you train before you won that one? Like, how many competitions did you do?
I probably 1 or 2 a year. That's it.
Right. Damn. Dana, what about you? When did you get into weightlifting?
About a year after I started CrossFit.
Okay, so you've been doing it for a long time. When did you first compete?
About 6 months after that.
Right into it.
Well, I had my problem was, like, I just had no technique. Like, if you don't spend the time on the Olympic lifts outside of class, your technique is you can't get past parallel. You don't feel comfortable at the bottom. There's just a million things. And then each year, it's just like tweaking and tweaking and tweaking. But I just like weights. I just love weights. I love weights.
We should have had a video.
I know, but it's true. I love your super total because you get to do all the lifts.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, what more could you want? I just love weights.
Your power clean exceeded your squat clean for a long time.
Yeah.
Not by a little, by a lot.
And now my squat clean's more than my power.
And when you started, I think your muscle snatch was more than your power squat.
Hey, I'm telling you, if you don't figure out how to get
it
up,
the power of consistency.
Yeah.
I love it. Did it. Strong as hell. I love that. What do you like better, the thrill of competing in weightlifting or the thrill of competing in CrossFit? Like on competition day.
Oh, they're so different.
So different.
Honestly, probably CrossFit. Only because if you mess up a workout, you can come back. If you mess up a lift and then you mess up another lift, you only get 3.
It's very tough. We'll talk about that in a second too, to come back and make a lift. Yeah. But once you make that, if you make a snatch and then once you make a clean and jerk too, it feels pretty fucking good.
Yeah, that part's
because you're like, now I can kind of just go for it, or I can miss these next lifts, and it doesn't matter as much. Once you get a total, you feel pretty good.
I think it's hard because with CrossFit, you have 4 days or 3 days in the CrossFit competition, possibly 2 days.
Yeah.
If one workout doesn't go your way, you still can make up for it.
Right.
In the snatch, when you do these clean and jerks and your snatch, there's limited recovery time as far as when you go to the clean and jerk. So if you have a rough session on the snatch, maybe it's just not your day.
Right.
And you just kind of like go into the clean and jerk, you do the best you can. And then some days you're just like, oh, this is my day. And you hit everything. So, it just depends on what your body can do that day. Sometimes with CrossFit, you can kind of muscle your way through something.
Right.
Maybe you don't feel snappy, but you can muscle your way through. With Olympic lifting, you can't. You're either on or you're not. In
a competition of weightlifting, it's probably 60 to 70% mental, just staying in it between every lift and then like cooling down and warming back up for the clean and jerks, and because that's going to be a big physical and emotional dump, in between. So to come back out there and get a total, because like people can make a snatch, people can make a clean and jerk, but then to actually get a total, like make both lifts in the same session, it's like that's why it's nerve wracking to do that stuff. What about you, Gordy? Which one do you like better?
I enjoy them both because to me they're both mentally different.
Right.
CrossFit, the time span that you're actually working is different, so you can think about how the workout's going to go. You can know how your body's feeling in the first 2-3 minutes of the workout, and what it is. And I think you learn when you compete, and better than me that within 2 to 5 minutes of that 20-minute workout where you're sort of going to end up, and how much you can push and how much you need to hang back. It just depends on the workout and how you feel that day. So there's a different mental stimulus that you need to perform the best you can. In Olympic lifting, when it's your turn to go, right, and you've got to know, when you're going to go. You have like 5 to 10 minutes, and you know when you're going to go, like on a 2-minute window.
Right.
And then when it's time to go, they start the clock at 1 minute, and you've got 59 seconds to get yourself together, determine how you're going to do it, what you're going to do, go through your progressions in your mind, and then go do it.
Right. So
the time span and the concentration level was so compressed that I think I'm more exhausted after Olympic lifting than I am at a CrossFit competition.
Right, because it's that small window you have to execute 6 times, and that's all that it is. Like I feel like in a CrossFit competition, and CrossFit workouts in general, it's just a little bit different how you can kind of manipulate things. Like Gordy's talking about that 15 to 20 minute AMRAP or whatever, and you're in the second and third minute, you can kind of know where you are, but then by like minute 12, if you have something left, you can kind of dump it out there. Or you can kind of find something that you didn't think you had to kind of add a little bit more into it. And that's kind of where the execution comes in that point. So just a little bit different there. So you were just talking about like going through progressions. Like, Gordy, do you have things that you say to yourself before you lift, in between lifts, anything like that? Do you have like any mantras or any specific cues?
When it's time to go and they start the clock, that's when I start the progression. The first progression is putting chalk on my hands, and that's where then I look at the crowd, I look at the judges. Jim's barking in my ear sometimes, and then I'm looking at my spot that I'm going to keep my eyes on. And then basically just tell myself, okay, now it's time. It's time to go. And then
now it's time.
Get out to the bar and get everything set and that you've been training for. So you basically just follow your training regimen.
I love that. Now it's time. It's a good one. Dana, what about you? You just black out your head?
That's exactly it. Honestly. Listen, the less thinking, the better. Listen, my body's going to do what it needs to do. I don't have to worry about it. I put in the work. I don't want to think. If I think, then for me, the less thinking, the better, because my body knows what to do. So I just have to go out there. I just think, just keep your eyes up. Here's the thing. I black out in the middle of my lifts. I don't even know that the judges are there. So I'll hold the weight. And they're like, you can put it down now. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I don't hear anything. It's just silence.
It's just me lifting. That's it.
Like, honestly, no, but that's good. Like, it's a zone out.
Yeah.
On the days that I can hear everything, it's a bad day.
Yeah, that's not the day.
No, it's better when nothing's working.
Yeah. I think that's called being in a flow state. I think so. You're just in tune with what you're supposed to be doing. I'm gonna try to throw you both there and call it something cool. She said,
my own flow state.
She said, I don't know what's happening. The barbell just over my head. That's really funny. Do you have anything like? So I posted that video for of the Super Total the other day, and like you're about to take your big lift, you're shaking your arms out. Like I do the same thing, and I tell myself like similar to Gordy, like it's go time, or like now is the time, something like that. Do you have anything you say to yourself right before you want to do a big lift? She's like just silent up there.
I just go.
Right.
Like it's just time to go.
Imagine if we had the technology to like put some little doodads on her forehead and be able to read her brain.
Come up, see what she's thinking.
Yeah.
It would just be like radio silence.
Oh my God! Like 3 different people in a row be like, do some kind of thing, and then Dana has the white noise. That's great. Oh my God! So what's up next for you guys, Gordy? What are you training for next?
We're going to do a meet in January.
Yeah, January 29th. 27th,
sorry. Lifting meet.
Up at
Garage Strength. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
And let's have a sort of a test to see what we can do, and then go to Baton Rouge in April for National Masters.
Dana, what's same
meet? Technically, this is my off season, which is really short. But for the next 2 months, I'm just going to be building and Olympic lifting and squatting a lot and just getting myself ready for the season. Because the open 25% go in, I'm not necessarily going to focus. Like usually I start cardio intensive training in January. Right. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to start cardio intensive training once the open hits. I'm going to still do workouts and do cardio, but I'm not going to be super focused on it because
not intentional with that. Yeah.
Because I just got off Legends. I haven't had any time to do any strength building this year because I feel like I've just been competing all year round. So next year, my last event will be the Masters Fitness Collective. I don't want to train all the way to December ever again. Yeah. It was just too much. Like January to December, I had zero downtime.
Right.
So either I make semifinals and I make the games this year or I don't. And either way, I'll just go to Masters Fitness Collective. But like my focus is I want to go to nationals this year, weightlifting nationals, and win.
Hell yeah. So you're going to do the Open. Gordy, are you going to do the Open?
Yes.
Comes up in February. Are you going to try to be competitive in it? Like if you make quarterfinals, will you move on to do that?
I will.
Oh, awesome. Back pushing for the Open there.
It's 65 plus, so I'm only 5
years
older.
They have 20 spots now for him. So yeah, it's totally worth it.
Yeah, it's worth it, right? Like if you can push into it and try to get up there. We just talked a little bit, or you just brought it up, the off season. So when do you see as your off season, Gordy? Like, is there a time of the year that you get more intentional with either like the higher level skills in CrossFit or trying to push heavier weights in weightlifting?
I think during the winter I do, because in the summer, July, August, September is big golf time of year for me. So I won't do as much CrossFit then. I don't stop doing Olympic lifting. That's 3 times a week, no matter what.
Keep that consistent throughout. So Dana, you just kind of told us there, but when would you envision your timeline to be of the off season?
This year it's going to be from now until the Open.
February. So like 3 months.
Yeah. So
month and a half.
Month and a half. Yeah.
It's 2 full months. So 2 full months of strength training.
Into February for that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to continue. I mean, the Olympic lifting will continue after the Open, but I'll just do one last day of squats. You know, I usually try, you know, I'm not young. I'm going to be 50.
No kidding.
Shut up.
You're not young. You're limited, Dana, right?
You can't do 4 days of Olympic lifting and 5 or 6 days of CrossFit. You just can't do it. Your body just can't hold up. So, you know, I'll just do one less day of CrossFit and add another day of weightlifting, and then I switch it back when we get to the Open. I'll do one less day of weightlifting and one more day of CrossFit. That way, you know, at least my body will hold up. You also have to have your recovery weeks, you know, like you just have to be mindful of your body. And if something's bothering you, you just walk out the door.
Heard that. My last question for you guys, Gordy first. If there's people out there listening, master's age, in the older years that feel limited like Dana, what would you have any advice for them to get in a CrossFit gym or any things to say to them?
So I do have some advice. First of all, you have to want to get fit. And if you decided that, then find a good coach. That's the highest priority. You got to find a good coach so that you know your movements are right? You got to have good technique. I don't care if it's a pull-up or a snatch, right? 2 extremes of difficulty. You got to have the right coach. So find a gym, find a good coach, listen to your coach.
Listen to your coach.
Go get it.
Love that. Dana, you can't steal Gordy's answer.
No, but along those lines, I had gone to 2 separate gyms prior to coming here. And the one thing that I felt was missing was the understanding of being an older athlete and that what my body, I was overtraining. I was constantly fatigued. I injured my knee. I wasn't getting the right technique. I come in here and I started working with Amy.
And she was like, stop doing that right
she's
there.
She's like, you're overtraining. She's like, you can't, I only do the Olympic lifting on Mondays. I can't do that plus all this other stuff you're doing. You have to choose because you're older now.
Yeah.
And so once she said that to me, I was like, oh, what am I doing?
Yeah.
And then she's like, come on in on Mondays and work with Jim. And he'll fix your Olympic lifting. And I was like, boom. I joined. I started working with Jim. And my whole entire CrossFit career just flopped. It went from me struggling all the time.
Changed her life.
Yeah.
No, it did.
It is.
And she taught me how to do my first handstand, my real handstand walks, handstand holds, handstand push-ups.
Were you doing fake handstand walks before?
No, but like I didn't go anywhere. But or fall like just learning how to like control your body, and then muscle ups. She helped me get my muscle ups bar and ring.
Yeah.
And like everything that. What I'm able to do now is because I decided and came here because the coaching was at another level.
Yeah.
And the interest in you getting better was also there. Like the coaches are very invested at KOP. They want to make sure they're getting the best out of you and giving you what you want out of your class.
Yeah.
Which is really important because if you're going somewhere, you should definitely have somebody who knows what they're doing because when you get older, you can't afford injuries. And if someone doesn't know how to coach something properly, and then you say, hey, my knee hurts when I do this, and then they say, oh, it looked good, you need to go somewhere else.
That's funny, Dana. Yeah, that's awesome. I don't know if you even realize this, but like if someone walks in here, right, they can see you working out for like 3 hours, a couple of days a week, but like you earned the right to do that again, so it kind of got flipped on its head. You came here and you were doing too much at first, and then you walked backwards, and then you earned the ability to be able to work out a whole bunch again every day. So you worked your way back up to all that volume and capacity. So that's awesome. But all right, guys, I think this has been a great episode. I'm inspired. I hope all the other Masters athletes and everyone else is out there inspired from listening to you guys today. We're going to get out of here. Peace, dogs.